change the problems with enforcement?
You know, that's really my passion, and probably the main reason that I'm running for mayor. But I talk about this regularly with people, and they're like, "Wow, that sounds really boring." Don't talk to people about that if you're trying to get elected. So I think the simple answer to that is absolutely. I've read our code, and we have a lot of great code that we can hang our hat on, and certain things should not have been constructed the way they were constructed. And
I can vouch for him being very good at very boring things.
I was scared to ask the question because I knew it was boring, but...
No, but it's serious. That's part of my point about why he was such a successful volunteer with it. Collecting petitions is hard work, and it's boring work sometimes, and getting everything right. But I can vouch for his investment in the boring.
But I don't think it's boring. Right. That's the difference.
Yeah, it's not boring.
I love it.
I think it's very important. And I think it's very important.
It's boring to other people.
Yeah.
Except to the neighborhoods that have been dramatically affected.
Right, and that's why it's so...
all over town, or all over the village.
And that's why it's so important. That's why it is so important. And it blew me away, because when I returned to New Paltz, like I grew up here and then was away for a while, and then I returned 2.5 years ago, and you see development, and you're like, well, how did that single family home get built with a giant addition a few feet away, and it's connected by a breezeway? And you're told, oh, well, our code is really complicated, and it allows for stuff like that to happen. I've read the code. There's nothing in the code that allows for that to happen. And if anything, there are things in the code that would prevent that from happening.
So what would you do to make sure the code was enforced?
Two things. Supervise and manage the building department better. And also, when you think about code generally, you have to empower the building department. Like there's some discussion about some changes to the code, which I think we'd be headed in the wrong direction, where you need code that the building department and the building inspectors, you have to set them up for success. If the code is too complicated to enforce, then they're going to fail, and we're going to face the consequences as a community. So it's really two things. It's supporting and managing, and then thinking broadly about the consequences and unintended consequences of code.